Face. What's good with y'all? This Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. I am Thawahgabar, as y'all all know. I am a historian. I'm your brother, and I keep it black and authentic. And I'm in the house, and we are going to get on with this live video. I'm excited to do this live video because I've been waiting to get my chance and my opportunity to talk about the emotional response that Black people had when Donald Trump became the 47th president, or a president for a second term. Okay, so I'm definitely going to hit that. That's what I really want to talk about. It's a lot of points that I want to make about the reaction from Black people, and also specifically Black women, and just seeing the vitriol and the attitude that you see online because of the election results, which is, in my opinion, it is ridiculous. Okay. And let me just make sure everything is good. Let me check the comments. Everybody can hear me. Y'all can hear me. And so the thing, give me a one if you can hear me. So the thing is about the what I'm doing is I really thought long and hard about changing my platform and, you know, doing different things. That's what I want to do. I want to do different things. I want to try different things. Hey, thank y'all for that. I want to try different things. I want this platform to grow, because this platform is something that a lot of people could benefit from. This platform is something that I feel a lot of brothers and sisters that may not, you know, be in the world of the Israelite world, or you know, even believe the Bible, could actually find something like Black Authentic Truth, and it is a branch or a connector to actually finding the truth. So I definitely want this platform to grow, and because of that, I'm going to be trying new things, and I'm going to be growing. I'm gonna be letting go of some things, trying some different ways to reach people and to make the platform grow. As you can see, I've changed up the thumbnail, and little by little, I'm going to be changing things in order to be more effective. Okay, because that's the number one thing. Thank y'all. Thank everyone that put the one up in there. The number one thing is for me to be effective. Yes, I want to grow, but I want to be effective. I want to say something that you can take away and you can say, well, I learned something today. Oh, I didn't look at things that way. And that's what I want to do. That's the whole plan of Black Authentic Truth. And so I'm going to get back to the core. I'm not going to take away the core, which is Black Authentic Truth stories. That is the most important part, and that is the foundation of my platform, is telling stories about Black men and women that normally don't get heard. Normally they don't get heard during Black History Month, during anything. And so that is the point. That was always the point. And so as I started to see things growing and people liking it, you know, I branched out to vlogging and doing things like that, which, you know, everything is a growing process. And so as you see me grow, and you can go look at my videos, you can definitely see the growth. You can see the growth in my presentation. You can see the growth in the subject matter. You can also see the growth in, you know, the video, the actual quality of the video, the quality of the production. So these are some of the things that I want to do. And oh, thank you, JT 9000. Thank you for that. And that's another, that's what I just spoke on, is you know, the quality, all of these things I had to learn, all these things I had to study, and I had to look at people and look at tutorials and understand how can I make how can I produce something that looks that good, but more importantly, how can I produce something that somebody can look at and say that, okay, I learned something from that. I'm taking something away from that. And so that is my main objective right now. Okay. So before I get started, I just want to ask, how is everybody doing on this Sunday evening? How's everybody doing? I know what time it is. I know Monday is tomorrow. So we got to get back to the grind. But how is brothers and sisters doing? All right. I'll wait for some people to, you know, chime in. Always need that water. Listen, that's something I study too. I studied going live. I studied going live. Hakoyum. Hope I'm saying that right. That's good, brother. Black Dazzle. Listen, no complaints. Sister Barathanawa is going good. That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And so I even studied, I was talking about the water. I looked at it like, you know, when you're in front of people, it's a different beast. Okay. So when you say you're standing in front of people doing a presentation, whether you're in class, whether you're in an auditorium, whether you're at work, well, live is similar to that when you want to everything to be perfect. And so I'm one of those people that is a perfectionist. I'm one of those people that is an overthinker. And so part of that, what I learned is that when you do get on stage and when it's time to perform, you get a little nervous. And so one of the things that happens is, like, your vocal cords, they tighten up, and you tend to need water. If y'all ever see me, I'll be in the beginning, I used to always be drinking water. But once you get into the flow of everything rocks, everything be smooth. That honesty gamer honesty 06. I've been laying around all day, just one of them days. Hey, it's just one of them days. Renee said it's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So yeah, without further ado, let me get into it, because I know y'all been waiting for this one. I wanted to make a video, but I wasn't. But we're gonna get into it. Now, when it comes to these elections, right? These elections, you see Black people have put their whole soul into Kamala Harris becoming the first woman president and quote unquote Black president. We're gonna get to that. Well, when that didn't happen, what you saw was a lot of Black people, mostly sisters, said, you know what? We're washing our hands with all of these people. Nobody came out and uh uh supported Black women, a Black woman. I've heard sisters say things like Black men didn't support them. I heard them say things like basically wishing harm on Black men. So the next time a police officer shoots an unarmed Black man, don't expect us to be there and protest. Of course, with the immigration, that goes into, hoping for families to be torn apart. All of this vitriol because Kamala Harris did not become the president, a quote unquote Black woman. Now, I even heard a Black woman say this, which she echoed what Barack Obama had said a few weeks ago when he got on Black men, saying that he think that Black men are not voting for Kamala Harris just because they don't want to see a woman as president, which was just some BS. BS. And that showed you because when those results came up, and let me pull these results real quick. Let me pull these results up that they've been posting everywhere. Now, it just shows you right here that 86% of Black men went and voted for Kamala. So all of that rhetoric, all of that stereotypical nonsense that they were saying about Black men, well, it didn't happen, y'all. It didn't happen. Overwhelmingly, Black men supported Kamala Harris. Ain't that something? When they was saying that Black men felt some type of way about a woman being in charge, a Black woman being in charge, and Black women is doing all of this over a woman that is a woman of color. But newsflash, she is not Black. All right. It's a sad deal when Black people when Black people are looking at people that are not even you as Black. But guess what? It already happened before. It happened before. Newsflash, Barack Obama. Barack Obama was not a Negro. Barack Obama was an African, and his mother was a Jewish woman. Now, depending on who you ask, on one side, on his father's side, he would be African. But the Jewish people look at the mother being how you trace your lineage. So according to them, he would be a Jewish man, just like Drake would be a Jewish man. But when it comes to the history of the world, the history of the Bible, we understand that you are who your forefather is. And so Barack Obama, he is a descendant of Hamitic people. He is not a descendant of Shemitic people who are the Negroes that were put on cargo slave ships and sent here and brought here to the West Indies in the Americas. And so with that being said, Barack Obama was just a part of the plan. And in fact, when you look at what he did for Black people, you'll have to keep on looking. You'll have to keep on looking, and you'll have to keep on looking. You'll have to keep on looking. But Black people put their whole heart and soul and their aspirations of change in him just because he was a person of color. He was not one of us. He went to the University of Chicago. He, played a little basketball. He probably smoked a little marijuana. Don't mean you us. Like Kamala Harris talked about, preparing greens in the bathtub. She went to Howard University. Excuse me. These things don't make you us. And so sisters got in a fit, in a emotional fit over what just transpired. But let's keep it real. Think about this. They saying that Kamala Harris would have been the first woman president, right? And then a Black woman president. But when have people, okay, think about it. Hillary Clinton was a white woman. who could have been the first woman president. They didn't even vote her in. So why is it that our black people are so hung up on the fact that they don't want a black woman in charge? They don't want a black woman this. How is that when Kamala Harris said out of her own mouth, I'm not just going to do anything for black people. I'm not specifically doing anything for black people. So the hopes and desires of black women and black men, because black men voted too, black men that wanted Kamala Harris to be the next president, when she's on camera, you can go look it up, saying, I'm not just going to do anything for black people. What does that mean? What is the point then of her being president for you? It's just vanity, or is it just symbolism? Because she said out her own mouth, she's not just going to do nothing for black people. And then in 1 minute, she was East Indian. And then when it was time to, get the vote of the black community, she became black. And so you really got to look at this. There's a video not too long ago that Sister Sherazade Ali had, it was a clip. It was a clip, I believe it was on Sign Netter. Many of y'all know who Sister Sherazade Ali is. Now, on this clip, she said that the average black woman is emotionally immature. Now, that's a lot that she's saying right there. And she said the average, meaning not all. And I can vouch for that. But what I seen on social media after this election was emotional immaturity. It was like looking at children that didn't get their way. And then they'll say, you know what? Well, since I didn't get my way, good luck with police, shooting unarmed black men. Good luck with immigrants' families being deported. Good luck with that. And I'm like, is that adulting? Is that being an adult? If you really think about it, it was childish. It still is childish. Not that it is childish. And I said, it wasn't just black women. I've seen some videos with some black men that everybody is in their emotions, emotionally immature, not seeing the big picture. The big picture is, and let me just go back to Barack Obama. The big picture is this. There was a young Mexican girl, I believe she was in the 4th grade. You can go look this up. On a project, she connected all of the presidents. All of the presidents were bloodline related, except for probably one, like the 25th president. Guess who was related in the bloodline? Barack Obama. That goes back. I forgot to say that fact, but that goes back to what I just said. The people that are the president is just a figurehead. The president is not even the person that is making the moves. It's people behind the scenes that's making the moves. The president is just somebody that's up there for the people. He's an ambassador to the nations, to the other nations. That's it. He's a representative. Okay. And so going back once again, what did black people expect when you look at the history of America? Do you really think that they're going to put their people, that they're going to put, okay, you are the descendant of the slaves. Nobody at no time have black people ever been a president. Now, people of color, Barack Obama has been a president. Do you really think that these people would want to see one of us up there? And just the psychological effect it would have on everyone. One of us that actually descends from the transatlantic slave trade. Do you ever think that they want to eat? They would want, like other people to think like our lives are being dictated by this black person, by this N-word. They will never do that. Y'all are insane to even think that that would even happen. The sadder part is that black people, y'all really are lost in the sauce because y'all are so invested in voting, so invested as though that's the change, that is the thing that is going to change your community. When probably the greatest, most voted in by all ethnicities president did nothing that you thought was black. Barack Obama did nothing for your community. Why do we keep leaning into that? Why do we keep believing that lie? And so the next 4 years, all people will be having the same discussions, arguing about the same things, the right and the left, Democrat, Republican, and what's going to fix this, healthcare, immigration, abortion, blah, blah, blah. It's going to go over and over again. It's going to go on and on again with no results for our community. Right? Let me see. Let me look at some of what you're saying. Okay. Jay T9000 said they'll burn it down before they let that happen. You're right. They will burn America. Listen, they couldn't even take the fact that black people had their own towns and they burned those down. I'm about to go next week. I'll be in Puerto Rico and I'm going to be in San Juan and Ponce. And I just found out in Ponce, Puerto Rico, United States government dropped bombs on Ponce, Puerto Rico. I didn't even know. This is some new history I didn't even know. But the thing is that when just us being left to ourselves is too much, let alone running what they got going on, it would just spill over into civil war, into race wars in the streets of America. That's it. Let me get Michael Foster. If all the black men in America voted, she still won't win. Democrats told black women not to listen to their husband, breaking up the household. That's heavy. That's heavy. Black Dazzle says, Candace Owens did a thorough investigation of Kamala's and Obama's genealogy. Neither of them are black, and the information that has been presented to us is a lie. Ooh, wee. That's some crazy work. Crazy work. Crazy work. And we're like, I don't know what the word is because I know of Stockholm syndrome. But what is the word where we just keep on we just keep hoping and hoping? What is that word for that where we keep believing in the system that keeps lying to us? I don't know what the word is, but I know it's somewhere in there with Stockholm syndrome. Somewhere in there with Stockholm syndrome. And this is another thing. Think about this. What really tripped me out is I'm sitting back looking at the vitriol that black men and women is talking or spitting to black men and to immigrants about how they hope they get deported. They hope that, they're not going to be there to protest when the next black man gets, the unarmed black man gets shot by the police. They're not going to be there. And I'm sitting there and I said, you got one group of slaves oppressed people hating another group of slaves oppressed people because of the slave master that they voted for. If that is not a slave mentality, I don't know what is. I wish I had a bomb just boom. I don't know what is, right? It's just crazy to me. And if you could go back on a plantation and you'll look and say, you'll have a discussion with some slaves. Well, what master do you choose? What master do you choose? Well, I chose such and such master. I chose such a, I hope you get sold, nigga. I hope they sell you and rip apart your family. I mean, it sounds crazy. And I'm dramatizing it, but that's the reality. That's what I saw, y'all. I just think differently. I think differently. You know what I'm saying? Number one, and I'm gonna get to that. Number one, I'm a man, I'm a black man, and I don't believe in holidays. I don't believe in voting. I believe in our heritage, who we are and what our people did. And most of the things we do and we have come accustomed to here in America that we do normally, it is not of our people. Okay. And so with voting, I can just sit back and see it from a different perspective, and, when it goes into, I understand, like when it comes to Kamala or Trump, I'm not the sharpest person when it comes to what they stood on, their policies, but some of the things I do know. So for instance, when it comes to when it comes to Kamala, she was pro-abortion. Donald Trump was against abortion. And I believe that when some of his policies would, prevent women from getting, certain abortion pills being mailed to different states. What are some of the other things that came with some of the policies? Because to be honest with you, I was researching it, and Donald Trump is not clear cut on what he's going to do with abortion. But what I will say is this: I don't believe that if there is an emergency, somebody should be denied health care. So when it comes to a woman miscarrying, or a woman, it's either the woman's life or the baby's life, I believe that they should be treated. I don't think that's right. Now, when it comes to abortion, I'm not for abortion, because I stand on the Bible, right? And I'm gonna get to that. Whether or not abortion is pro-black. Is abortion pro-black? I'm gonna get to that. Now, I know a lot of sisters feel some type of way. Women in general feel some type of way because Donald Trump and the policies that they're saying that they're going to implement. Now, with Kamala Harris, she was pro-abortion. Now, if you were going for Kamala Harris because of these reasons, like, and I forgot to get the statistical graph to show you the reasons. They've done studies and they ask women when they're getting abortion, what are the reasons why that you are getting an abortion? So I can say this clearly from my memory is like, it's around 90%. It's no reason at all. Now, when it comes to the reasons that they usually use that you should be able to do, whether it be the grape word or I'm using different words, but you know what I'm saying? The grape word, the princess word. When it comes to those type of situations, those are less than 1% out of all abortions. So just to put it in context, that's why I said that I feel like when it comes to a woman needing some treatment, something that is a life or death thing, and it has to do with a pregnancy, I believe she should get that. But I don't believe when it comes to a woman that if you just feel like it for your career or anything like that, that you should be able to do that, because I think that the decision should be made in the bedroom and not on the operating table. You should make up your mind in the bedroom whether or not you want a child or not, and be responsible. Okay. So here's the thing. Black women are fighting for this. Historically, PP, the organization PP, its founder, Margaret Sanger, was a eugenicist and a known racist. Go look it up. The founder of the people that help you, prepare for pregnancy. I'm not going to say the organization. Y'all know PP. You can put it in the chat. Somebody put in the chat. Well, their founder, who they have tried to separate ties from, Margaret Sanger, was a eugenicist and a racist. Margaret Sanger went to Nazi Germany and she learned from the scientists. I forgot to tell you, eugenics is about the science of population control. She went to Nazi Germany and she learned about eugenics, population control. She came back to America and she created what you know today as PP. She's quoted as saying that they want to exterminate, paraphrasing, want to exterminate the weeds of society. They want to get rid of the undesirable people. For Black people, what she said is the way to communicate this to Black people, a covert way to do it is through pastors, through the preachers, and let them talk to the people in order to have abortions. And so this whole thing, the idea, the concept was part of population control for Black people. Go look it up. Go look it up. Don't believe what I'm saying. Just go look it up. And so to fight for that, to actually fight for that as a black person is crazy work. It's crazy work. You understand? Let me see. Let me get to some what you brothers is talking about, brothers. Let me see. Let me scroll up. It says, Damon Reeves, the congressional coon talkers is one of FBA's biggest problems. The immigration border control has been ridiculous under Kamala. People will fake like it was grape or princess. You know, I have to say that, brother. I have to do it like that because everything is so sensitive on these platforms, on YouTube and stuff. You can't say nothing. You can't even speak the truth. Honestly, you gotta change words, mince words. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Or they try to hit you with a strike. I agree. Some cases are exemptions. Some abortions can be justified in those extreme incidents. I agree with that, JT 9000. Damon Reeves, should ask Kamala how many terminations she you savage for that. Gentile killer. Bottom line, the nation is going to hell with gasoline draws on. Checkmate Beans. I sent you an email about being a guest on my show. Okay, I'll check that. I'll check that. Definitely. Thank you. Brilliance wins. Just to get abortions, people who can't afford babies should not have children. Michael Foster, mental health. She said black people are weeds. Nasty work. Nasty work. That's the word, ladies and gentlemen. That's the word. Kyle Mosboff, thank you. Says, yo, I just caught that. Let me get what would you just say, bro? You right here. Yeah, people who can't afford. Okay, brilliance. I wouldn't go there because black people came out of slavery and we could afford children. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like a talking point that, to me, in my experience, that a lot of those white supremacists say. And so my thing is this. To me, it's not about that. It's about being responsible and us teaching our children. If you're going to lay down with somebody, make it be for the rest of your life. There was a good video that one of the brothers did. I can't remember who did it. If it was the brother in Florida, Sharatazah, or if it was the other brother, but he was asking women, or it could have been Captain Yatazak. He was asking women, like at a function, if your father was allowed to pick the man that you sleep with and you got to be with him for the rest of your life, dang, I can't even remember. Like, would you have multiple partners? Would you have slept with so many people? And they're like, no. Some of them was like, no. You know, they understood, like, because if my father would have chose a man and I can only be with him, it would only been him, and it would have been, everything would have been responsible. The thing about us in the black community is we just be having sex. We just be doing what we want to do without thinking about the consequences or the repercussions of that. You know, a baby comes from this act, from this intercourse. A baby can be produced from this. And so that don't, in the heat of the moment, people don't be thinking about that. But if we were taught that as youngsters, that if you're going to be with somebody, the minute you lay with them, you got to be with them for the rest of your life. So make a good choice. Then you wouldn't see as many single mothers. You wouldn't see, you know, so many broken families today. And that just comes back. And what I'm saying right now comes straight out of the Bible. But I know a lot of brothers and sisters don't ascribe to the Bible, but the way we live in right now is a big problem. But it doesn't help that the society we live in is like, hey, it's not your fault. Let me pat you on the back. You know, it was a mistake, you know? And so that's how I see it now. Getting back to whether or not, this is another point I wanted to bring out. I don't know if y'all ever thought about this. When you talk about what they say, you know, the proponents, the people that are against abortion, what they say, well, it's not even a life, right? So they've done this all the time, but if they go to another planet and when them rovers find one drop of water, what would they call that? They would call it life. When somebody is unalive that was found to be pregnant, the person that unalived them is charged with what? Double homicide. Why is that? So that's something else to think about. Like they say it is not a life, but okay, in different circumstances, it is a life. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm gonna drop that. Okay, but another thing I saw. So with Margaret Sanger, from my understanding, that organization is trying to distance themselves from her because they really operate in poor neighborhoods, and some of their main customers are Black and brown women. So you don't want that to get out that this is what y'all connected to. But listen, it doesn't even matter because the information is out there. So for the people that's seeing this, for the women that's seeing this, go and look it up. Now, another question I would ask for that, right, is this. If you, okay, can you be pro-abortion and pro-Black? That's the question. I'm going to wait and see if what brothers and sisters say. Can you be pro-abortion and pro-Black? Let me hear what y'all got to say. Can you be pro-abortion and pro-Black? Can you be pro-abortion? Hey, another thing, y'all make sure y'all like this video. Go ahead and like it. You know what I mean? Just like it for the algorithm. Right. Now, I'm going to say no. Also, Young Man Kev and Black Dazzle, I'm going to say no. Also, for the very reason that I just explained, the historical significance of Margaret Sanger and the foundation that she created. How can you say you pro-Black? You're about the upliftment of your community, and you're about the upliftment of Black families, when you're for the destruction of Black families or potential Black families. For all the people that were upset that Kamala didn't get voted in the Black community, abortions are up to the tune of 300,000 a year. These are potential inventors, innovators, doctors, lawyers, Black voters. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm not trying to, be down on my people, be hard, but that's the reality. These, for the people that believe in voting, for the people that, and then you believe in abortion, well, look how many people you could have had that probably could have got so-called Black woman Kamala over the hump and beaten Donald Trump. But getting back to some of the policies, like even so, I looked at some of the things Donald Trump was saying. Donald Trump was talking about them confusing children in the school as opposed, putting it in their mind of what they are. I'm trying to say it in a way y'all know what I'm saying. Putting it in the mind of the children, like, what are you? And he's saying he's going to put a stop to that. Listen, I don't care about what goes on, but that's something that I can agree with. Doesn't matter to me, but just from a biblical perspective, I agree with that. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not none of that. My pronouns are man, Black man, Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth, Thawahgabar 5,000 in the ISUPK. My pronouns are those. That's what I stand on. I don't stand on, the regular things that we Black people and just people in general stand on in this society. But what I can say is with Donald Trump, some of those things are things that regular normal people agree upon. that I personally would agree upon if I was in that world, but I'm not in that world, and I don't care about that world. You understand? I care about the world of Black folks, the world of reality on the ground level. Okay, so yeah, these are some things to think about, and then what I also seen is a strong strain of Black feminism, which that's something you can't be either and be pro-Black. You cannot be a Black feminist. Let me pull this up real quick. You cannot be a Black feminist and be pro-Black, because it goes against the Black family. It goes against the structure, the order of a Black family. Let me see. Do I have that? Let's see. Oh, disappeared. Where is it at? I know I got that picture. This picture is it makes the point. It definitely makes the point. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Okay. Just blow this up. Crazy work. See if I can share this screen. Can I? No, I cannot. So all right. So that feminist thing was strong. It was strong. It's a strong strain of that in this whole emotional outburst to the election results, right? But this is how Black feminists were created. Now, when you look at those results, you see that white women, they voted for who they was going for, their people. They were not on no feminist stuff because she's a woman. They was not on that. The crazy part is also, right, is if you see to the right, that's how a Black feminist was created. That's how a Black Republican was created. That's how a Black Democrat was created. It was during those times. And when you look at the things that happen in the Black community, atrocities that happen, what you see is those women stick to their kind. There's a separation. There's a separation in the alternative lifestyles. Look, they can all be Black and white, can be alternative, but when something pops off, they separate to their own groups. There is no connectedness because of what y'all stand on. So even with the feminists, they don't stand with Black women. Those white feminists, they don't stand with Black women when there's an issue. They don't come out and when what happened to Breonna Taylor. And so what I see with Black feminism is it's just a way to separate the family more and have this vitriol towards Black men, which makes no sense because we both need one another. We both need one another. You understand? But yeah, so that's what I saw with this whole thing. I wanted to tap into this election. What's y'all thoughts, man? I want to talk about this, and I wanted to hit some points on the head, some of the things that I saw. Whoa. You know they don't like that. They is definitely right. It's right, put right in our face. He said my profile's a FBA B1. Said he also said he's gonna yeah. So that's what I have on that. As far as that's what I seen come out of this election, and some more stuff has come out. So there's a video with, I don't know, well, I will say that he's a white man in the face of a black woman. I was trying to find a video. It seems like it's been scrubbed off the internet. Did some of y'all see that video where it's in New York? It's a black woman and it's a guy in her face, and he's just like, telling her to do something. Anybody seen that video? Let me know if any of y'all seen that video, because that video, when you first see the video, it could definitely anger you as a black person, because you look at sisters as being vulnerable, and you look at, it's a man in her face, and I don't have context of what actually happened. It said I should watch the video of the 100-day agenda. Okay. Black Dazzle, yeah, you saw it. Yeah, so it's that video, and I couldn't find the video. I was seeing it everywhere. Now it's like it just disappeared off the internet. And I know why. I know probably why they don't want that to, because the dude has a MAGA hat on, and he's in the sister's face. It looks like they're in New York. There's people standing around, and the sister, he's talking. Then some guys get in between them to like pull him away. He backs up a little bit, and the sister steps up more in his face. And then they just push him out of the picture. They push him. He's like on a scooter. He goes to the side. He's still talking like, yeah, you need a man to put you in your place. I'll put you in your place. And then he said something like to the effect, like, I'm not Tyrone in the hood. Like, you're not going, basically, he's insinuating like you can talk to a black man like that, but you're not going to talk to me like that. Right. While they're still in each other's face, the sister is telling him to do it, like basically do what you're gonna do. And so there's a lot of things to dissect in that, but I'm thinking that it's been scrubbed off the internet because I couldn't find it anywhere. If anybody can find that, send it, post it right here. I could not find it anymore, and I wish I would have downloaded it when I first saw it a few days ago. But there's two things I've seen that on both sides. So as a man, and you see that going on, the first response in your mind is like, what is this? What's going on? But you see a man in the face of a woman, like with his arm, like he wants to take off on her. And so in a situation like that, you always want to look at a situation circumspectly and just see what's going on. You don't want to run into a situation like, it could be a couple, it could be anything, right? If you see a man putting his hand on a woman and she's crying for help, most guys, their instinct is going to kick in, and you're just going to black out, and you're not going to even think about that. You're going to go and intervene, and you do what you got to do. And so from the video, from an emotional perspective, you could get very angry. Now, when you take a step back and you say, well, what happened before the camera came on? We don't know. We just see him in her face. And then he also says that you said it first. She threatened him first. And I see the sister walked up on him. This is the thing as a woman now. If you see a man that is angry and he looks like he's about to tee off, you should walk away. You shouldn't just step to no man. I would never teach my daughters to step to a man. I teach my daughters to defend themselves. I would never teach them like, if a man, you arguing with a man and he ball his fist up, you ball your fist up and you step to him. I would never do that. Why? Because I understand that men are stronger than women. Men are stronger than women. And as a woman, what you want to do in a situation like that, with grace and with class, you want to remove yourself from that situation. Now, if he's starting to pursue you and follow you, that's when it turns into, self-defense, but other than that, you don't want to stand in a man's face telling him to do it. That's crazy work. I'm glad that he didn't do nothing. I'm glad he didn't do nothing. He didn't have the heart. He didn't do anything. But from that video, I would say that that sister should have walked away a long time ago when she seen how angry he was. Once again, don't know the context of the video, only know what I'm seeing. So I don't know what transpired before that. I can only go off of what was in that video. Okay. And when I find that video, I'll add that to this live or whatever when I go ahead and edit it. Right. Let me see what you say. Now, like, should we be upset at videos with no context about our people? Do we respond emotionally or logically? Yes. That's exactly what I was saying. I was saying a video can make you emotional off top. But when you sit there and you analyze and you say, I wasn't there. I only seen when the camera came on. I can only go off of what I'm seeing. Wasn't nobody actually hurt, but I seen how at one point in time, the sister could have walked away, but she stepped up more. He backed up and she stepped up in his face. Like, do it. So it could have been de-escalated at a certain point. And it was some guys there and they got in between and they pushed the guy away. So shout out to those guys, because a lot of times what ends up happening is videos get posted where something is happening and the whole narrative is men were standing around and they didn't do anything. Well, these men did intervene. Y'all remember Brick Lady? Well, that can't turn out to be fake, but that was the whole narrative of that story with Brick Lady, the girl that was all lumped up and, acted like she got hit with a brick. Well, they was going in on black men, like it was black men there and none of them intervened. She was going in on the video. And so it just made this uproar on social media. So what the brother was saying is you just can't get emotional off of a video because you don't even know the context, right? You got to know the full story. And we're so used to just going off of pieces of story. Like society is used to going off of a piece of a story and just flaring up without no real context. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. So let me see what you said. Kev said, if I may, unfortunately, our women are used to talking stuff and running up in our faces. That's true. But unfortunately, women that do that have to learn the hard way. And that goes into, I will play this situation out. Watch. In their system, it's their system and gave you the right to vote. True. So I will play this out because that was the same situation with the Brick Lady, is that people were saying you should do this, you should do that. Let's just say the woman is running her mouth in a man's face, a stranger, and then it escalates to him putting his hands on her. Then what happens? She goes and get her brother, her family members, they come back, somebody gets unalived. And so I don't believe in black men being torpedoes for black women's mouths. Sometimes black women need to just shut their mouths. You understand? That's what this didn't happen a zillion times in our community, where there are men in jail and in the grave behind a woman's mouth. And it's not warranted. Like being able to walk away, being able to de-escalate is a gift. It is a gift to be able to do that. It is a blessing to be able to say, you know what, brother, that was my bad. It's a misunderstanding. That's something that we lack in our community. It's a gift to be able to let something go. Because time and time again, what ends up happening is it escalates to something where somebody is behind bars or somebody is in the grave, and it shouldn't have went there. So that ain't no diss to no sisters or no brothers, but a lot of times we keep going with stuff when we should just be quiet. We should just let it go. We should just walk away. You're not a punk because you walked away. You're not. You are not. You still a man. You're still a woman. Is nothing wrong with settling something and compromising and seeing something eye to eye and de-escalating the situation. Okay. Brother said, master being quick to leave the house and don't say anything that you can't take back. Right. Master that. Agree with a person quickly. Don't be like trying to find fault and trying to argue, you know, but it's a lot of our people that don't understand that. It's a lot of people that don't get that. That is the key to life, being able to let some things go, being able to just get along, being able to put your pride down and your ego down, you know? So that's that video, right? Now, there was something else that happened. You had the text message. Let me get this real quick. You had the text message sent out to students, high school students, students of all ages, college students, high school students, middle school students. Text message sent out in different forms, some with personalized with names, telling people to get ready to report to your nearest plantation. Okay, and let me get this story. Let me remove this. Let me remove that. I'm gonna read a little bit, y'all, so bear with me. What we in? We almost in an hour. Let me get this thing together. Let's see. Is this the right one? So it says, let me see where we at. Okay, y'all can see that. Authorities work to find the source of racist text sent to Black people nationwide after the election. Here's what we know. So this article actually, let me see. Where's the date on this article? So it came out today. It says federal and state authorities are working to find the origins of racist text messages sent to Black people across the country referencing slavery and telling them they were selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. Children, college students, and working professionals have received the mass text from unrecognized phone numbers in the wake of the presidential election. So this happened after the presidential election. The hate-filled rhetoric reminiscent of the country's painful and bigoted past has been reported in at least 30 states from New York to California and the District of Columbia. Okay, let me see. And I just want to get down to some of the things that were said in these text messages. So there's a company called Text Now. They're working alongside partners to uncover more details and monitor patterns of activity to block any new accounts attempting to send these messages. So they said that they're trying to investigate it. I know if it was anything else, they would have figured that out already. But you know, it'd be interesting to see who did this. I mean, it's not a, you know, we already know who did this, but it'd be interesting if they'll even make it public or put faces in the media of who actually did this. Excuse me. It says that let me see. Now listen to this. This is the FBI. They said whoever is responsible for this did some real research, not putting together the target list, but also crafting a message that had info that made it seem real. So they were able to have names, and people are wondering how were they able to personalize it, and it goes to certain people's phones. How are they getting this information? Which is something that we all should be asking, right? It says, so listen to this. It says, Children in middle school, high school, and colleges were among those targeted by the racist mass text, alarming parents and spurring warnings about their psychological impact. Montgomery County Public Schools in Maryland said in a statement Thursday that some of its students received the text. And while the school board noted, law enforcement in some areas have announced they consider the messages low-level threats, it acknowledged the text effects. Are we surprised that the law enforcement says this is low level? Like this is nothing. I'm not surprised. Let me keep reading. We recognize that the emotional and psychological impact on our students and staff, and particularly our communities of color, is profound. The school board statement reads, "We stand in solidarity with those who feel targeted and hurt by these actions." It says Nicole Nunez, whose 15-year-old son attends a Stella charter school in Los Angeles, told CNN affiliate her son and some of his friends got similar text messages. It said he had been chosen to be part of Group B to go pick cotton at a plantation, and he will be picked up by a black van and to be ready by 6 p.m. And he said a lot of his Hispanic friends also gotten the messages saying they will be deported. So they're getting different messages, just worded a little differently. So it's crazy. And it says here, somebody said, it's eerie that it's the day after the election. It's eerie that it came to my daughter's personal phone. It's eerie that it's only going to black students. Her group of friends have mapped out their paths to class so that they could walk together and keep each other safe. So this has created a psychological imprint on the minds of children, of these young students, okay, where they fear for their well-being and safety just going to class. Let me get a little more. There's probably one more. It says, so this is a grandmother. She said, when one of the texts popped up on a 12-year-old Milwaukee girl's phone, she immediately told her grandmother, "You have been selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. Please have your belongings together by 10 sharp. Our executive slaves will pick you up in a yellow van," the text read, using the girl's full name. The grandmother said, "That's the scary part. How did they get her name?" This is a question that, once again, like I said, we all should be asking. How is it that they are even getting people's names to personalize these texts? Listen, what black people have failed to, there's another, let me just, before I go in, let me just say, there's another story also. There's a HBCU in Tennessee. One of the buildings of this building that's 100 years old was burned to the ground. Okay. Also, there's a text, I'm sure y'all seen it, with a white woman that texts about slavery. Like, are we going to have slavery again? Y'all can be my slaves. Something to that effect. And, the internet did they work and found out where she lived. Found out where she worked, which is a Waffle House in Dallas, Texas. But here's the thing I was going to go into. Black people, what you got to understand is we do not live in a post-racial society. How they say, well, we're integrated, things are different now. You would have to be out of your mind to actually believe that, well, all of the signs that racism and bigotry is still alive. You get it every day. And they hate to even admit that it exists anymore. So what they'll do is they'll flip it on you and say, well, you're a victim. You're playing a victim mentality, always talking about racism when it still happens, always talking about discrimination when it still happens, always talking about the way, law enforcement treats black people compared to other folks. Well, it still happens. And so black people have to get it in their head that we still live in a place that is against us. When I say that, I'm saying it like to be vigilant. We have to go to work, school, and we have to live our lives, like everybody else. So life can't stop. We can't do what we can't stop doing what we need to do to live and survive and take care of our families. And many of us may even have coworkers, people we talk to who are not black. But in the back of your mind, you have to always remember what you come from and what time it is. Because in the blink of an eye, things can change. If there's a natural disaster, if something changes in the government, people's attitudes will quickly look at black folks as the scapegoat, as public enemy number one. How do I know that? Because it's happened before. Like, nothing I'm saying is not nothing that hasn't happened in history. We have to, like, they want us to forget our history, but how can you forget your history when you're still living in it? When you're still seeing something that opens up the wound fresh again? They just burnt down a church in Texas, Paris, Texas, burnt down the church. Before they burnt down the church, they spray painted it, get up out of here, N-word, and burnt the church to the ground. These things are still happening. What are y'all talking about? We're going to act like they're not happening? Or we're going to go watch some basketball? We're gonna watch LeBron James dunk. We're gonna go listen to some music. We're gonna act like, you know, that stuff don't happen no more. That was in the past. No, you better be sharp. And all of these black people that's missing, how many of y'all about give me a one if you've seen all of the post of all of these young boys and black girls missing? Black people in general. I say the majority is younger people, but it's adults too that are missing. How many of y'all have seen that? It should be disturbing to somebody. It should be disturbing to y'all, because it disturbs me to see like how people just go about their lives, and you got you posting on your feed about Sexy Red when it's all of these young girls missing. What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Like, it's not funny, but come on. Like, what is wrong with us? Like, we worried about the wrong things. We are worried about the wrong things in the society when so many things are still going on, and we vulnerable out here. We are vulnerable out here. Right? Let me see. It says, you said black people need to wake up, man, and stop playing around. But the only time that's going to happen is when man, hopefully, brother, it happened before that. Hopefully it happened before that. You know what I'm saying? Let me hear you. Not like us question, and part of my ignorance, we talk a lot about curses that follows. Are the curses due to our behavior or because of our enemies? How much blame can we place on the enemy or ourselves? I put all the blame on the enemy, right? But at the same time, we do have personal responsibility. So when I say, so something like this, you look at the black communities, you look at the gap, the wealth gap between black and white people have virtually not changed since the 1970s. There was a study that just came out. Well, not just came out a few years ago. It came out. It said that in order for the net worth of a black family to reach the net worth of a white family, it would take 228 years. You go into every major city, you have sections of the city where black people live, where Hispanic people live, where white folks live, usually the better parts of the city. And you just see there's a disparity, there's a gap. You look into the government, you look into, the high rank, the levels of government, there's definitely a gap. Black folks ain't really represented. You look into, Fortune 500 companies, they have to push diversity in these companies to get black or people of color into these organizations. So when you look at you look at where white folks as a whole, I'm not saying individuals, because white folks, they're poor white people too, just like there's poor black people. But when you look at a whole, you look at other groups, and you look at black people, that gap is because of 500 years of a head start of slavery, of Jim Crow. So that's where that plays in at, right? Then now though, we have the ability to do what our ancestors could not do, which is to learn freely. And to learn, you have the internet at the tip of your fingers. You could go to any library. You have all of these avenues to learn information and to understand what is really going on, and learn honor, morals, and integrity, right? But we choose not to do it. So that falls on us. We choose not to be a righteous people. So that falls on us. Like, forget about what everybody else is doing. If we say we're not going to sell drugs in our communities, we're not going to 304 our women out, and our women are not going to be on no poles, no 304s, no pornography, none of that. If we could have a consensus with Black people that want to do that, we could take over the world. That's all we need. We just got to believe in ourselves. We let me see. You said, in addition to previous questions, did the enemy cause us to, in addition, did he cause us to sin? No. But the thing is like, when you know better, you do better. So I gave this example not too long ago because I did a video on Officer Tatum, who was a Black man. He's a conservative. He used to be a police officer. He goes in on Black people. He says those things that the good old boys love. And so what ended up, he said something about, he was debating a college student, and the college student was saying, what about them putting drugs in the community? And Officer Tatum said, yeah, they did put drugs in the community, but did they make it you go sell it to your brother? Which is a point that a lot of people will be like, that's a good point. But if you think about it in this way, when they put drugs in your community, at the same time, they're not giving you opportunities. They're not hiring you. They'll send you to, they would send you to Vietnam to go fight and be unalive for the country, but they wasn't giving you anything. So in that same way, if you was in a country and you had no food, and all I did was come and drop off crates of sugar to you, and that was the most plentiful thing that you had. Eventually, 20 years later, there would be people, I ain't going to say complaining, but there were people saying, listen, look what you did. All of our teeth are rotted because the majority of the stuff we had was sugar. All we could do is eat sugar. And it's like, did I force you to eat sugar? No, you didn't, but that's all we have. That's what our economy is built off. We got sugar dealers. We got people that started trying to smoke the sugar. We got people that, ate sugar. They don't got no teeth. And so at some way, the destruction of Black people, that does fall on the people who destroyed them. That's why it's so important for Black people that know better to teach and mentor the people in their community to do better. Because if we do that, that's when we bring the level of our people up. You go to any place, any third world country, and there's crime. You know why? Because poverty is delicately, intimately connected to crime. So the poorest places have all of this crime and all of this corruption. But if a person could just have a regular way of living and feed their family, feed themselves, and build their community, there would be no point into resorting into crime. And so that's my answer. I hope I answered your question. Let me see. I hope I answered your question. Let me see. He says, you mean morales, value of principles, value and more. Yes. Value and principle. We need those. We don't have those. We don't have the older generation don't even have those. So we can't really get mad at the younger generation when they learn from their parents, their uncles, their aunts. You know what I mean? And so down the line, we have taken on the morals and principles of another group of people. The same way we have taken on the celebrations, the holidays of another group of people, the ideals of another group of people. We have to basically relearn. We got to relearn who we are, and then what is our purpose? What should we be striving for? But you're gonna have to want to put down. You're gonna have to put down the blunts. You're gonna want to have to put down you selling drugs. You're gonna have to do all of those things in order to be right. It can't be halfway. It can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know what I mean? We gotta just say no. None of these things have ever been good for our community. That's why I always go in. I say, can you be pro drugs and pro black? No, you cannot be pro drugs and pro black, because historically, drugs were introduced in order to destroy us, in order to mess us up. So you can't be somebody that says, I'm pro black this and that. Ain't you selling drugs to your people? What do you think your people are doing to get those drugs? You're destroying homes. You're destroying families. Somebody's kid didn't eat last night because they decided to get that drug over getting some food. You're destroying. Now you got a whole nother generation that's growing up broken because the house is broken down. We don't need to compound the destruction we already have. We just need to fix ourselves, right? So Brick City, what's good with you? Bulls fan 25, always rocking with me. Always up in here. Yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed the live. I hope somebody learned something. I'll be back with something. Matter of fact, next Sunday. Yeah, I'll be back next Sunday. Be back next Sunday. Should I? I might not be back. Listen, if the Wi-Fi is rocking out there in Puerto Rico, I'll go live from out there. I'll take the equipment and everything. And possibly y'all see me go live from Puerto Rico. Okay. You said this conversation has existed since the time of Malcolm X, when brothers were just knifing each other. They have already brought other people of color to replace the current castle. That's true, and that's an interesting perspective. You know how they say, I've just recently seen where in New York, a lot of the immigrants are not from El Salvador. A lot of them are from Somalia, from African countries. It's crazy out there. You see a lot of them, and they're just standing on the corner because all of these immigrants was promised to be able to get work when they got to this big city, and there is no work. So right now, what they're trying to do is send them back to like Texas and Chicago and different places in America for free, giving them free bus tickets and free airplane tickets. But the point you made is like, nobody can replace us. The world gets all of its flavor and it gets all of its energy from Black people. It repackages what we put out to the world and sells it back to everyone, including us. That also reminds me of this. With the immigration thing, y'all remember what happened in Florida when they was deporting people or whatnot, or threatening to deport people, and people wasn't coming to work. Who's going to work all of these jobs? We know who ain't gonna work them. Let's not play with it. Let's not fool ourselves in America, whether it be white people, Black people, whoever. There's just some jobs historically that don't nobody want to do, but you can depend on those Mexican brothers to not only do the job, to do it right and to do it efficiently. My question is, okay, if you're supposed to be sending everybody back, who's going to do the work? Who's going to get that work? That's a question people need to ask themselves. That's a question that need to pose. We'll see as time progresses. We're going to see what happens in the end result. But thank y'all for rocking with me. I'm Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. Y'all, it was a pleasure just talking with y'all, hearing some of your ideas and your opinions on what I brought out tonight. So I appreciate that. And I'm going to try to go live Sunday. I'm gonna try to go live Sunday, and we'll see what we can do. See what we can do in Puerto Rico. All right. Probably have a video put together and try to get some good footage out there. See what the local scene is like. Talk to people. I'm gonna be out there with the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana. We're going to feed some of the people, and we're going to be having camp out there. Okay, so I look forward to that. All right. So yeah, let me just check the comments one more time. Let me give y'all a shout out, man. Let me give y'all a shout out. Cause y'all was solid in here tonight. And like I said, this platform is going to continue to grow, and I'm going to curate better content. Kyle Mosboff was in the house. Renee Gaines was in the house. Hakwayum was in the house. Sister Baratha Nawa was in the house. That gamer Honesty 06 always rocking with me in the house. Black Dazzle always rocking with me in the house. Let me see. JT 9000. Thank you, brother, for rocking with me. Let me see. Young man Kev always rocking with me. I appreciate you. Michael Foster, thank you for your comments. Thank you for rocking with me. My brother Natazak was up in here. Shalom to you too, brother. Damian Reeves, thank you for your comments, brother. I appreciate that. All right. Damian Reeves was up in here. Brilliance Wins, always rocking with me. Thank you for that. Thank you for always rocking with me. Gentile Killer, thank you. First time I'm seeing you, but thank you. Checkmate Beans, thank you for that, brother. You said you sent me an email about being on the show, being a guest on the show. Definitely, I'll be there. Michael Foster, thank you. I don't know if I said Michael Foster. If not, if I already did, I thank you again, brother. Let me see. They Not Like Us. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate your thoughts and your opinions. Israel 144 elect. I appreciate your comments and your input. Thank you for that. J De Niro 1. Thank you for that. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your input. I appreciate your opinion. Bulls fan 25 always rocking with me. You already know what it is. The question is, who is going to pay for that work? I didn't even see that one, Bulls fan. He said the question is, who's going to pay for that work? You bring out a heavy point. And L. Jackson, be safe. I will. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Oh, let me see. Okay, great show. Black Dazzle, thank you. J De Niro 1, the Latinos in NYC have taken over the NYPD. They are integrating and controlling their narrative. That's interesting, brother. Look into that. Yeah, so once again, y'all, I am about to get up out of here. Let me see. Remove that. Yeah. So yes, look for me. Y'all look for me next Sunday. I don't know what the time difference is, but I'm gonna definitely try to go live. Try to have something beneficial for brothers to talk about, brothers and sisters to learn from. And in between that time, y'all stay safe. Y'all have a good week and keep it black and authentic. All right.